Well, under the banking code, the banks have agreed to inform people about low-fee accounts, but in reality what this meant was simply informing people wasn't enough. There were many people, and some of these people are people for whom English is not even a second language, it might be a third or fourth language, some of them living remotely from their nearest bank branch. So really our expectation at ASIC was that banks would be a lot more proactive, not just meeting their minimum requirements, but actually taking action because they could see who these customers were, they knew what Centrelink payments they were receiving, they knew they were on low incomes, so they should have been taking more action to move people into the low fee accounts, which are much more appropriate for their needs and circumstances.
And so did the bank seek to explain to ASIC why that didn't happen for millions of customers?
Well, we took a really unique approach to this project where we told the banks we were doing this piece of work. We went out and gathered data. When we saw the data, we went back to the banks and told them what we thought the scale of the problem to be and what we expected them to do. And I would say that all of the banks engaged well with our project, but with some of them we did have to take those conversations to a very senior level to get the sort of attention that we needed on these problems and to get the sort of action that ASIC wanted to see to move people into low-fee accounts.
ASIC was looking at accounts in the 12 months to November 22. Why has it taken so long to release this report?
Well, since we gathered that data, we needed to spend some time looking at it and then really going to back to the banks and giving them a chance to respond.
A cynic might say that in releasing the report today, ASIC is looking to soften the blow from last week's Senate report finding that the corporate regulator has failed its mandate and should be abolished. Is that what's happened here?
This is a part of the work that ASIC is doing every day to identify where we can see evidence of harm in the financial system, and to find the best regulatory tools that we can find to address that harm. Now, in many cases, that involves litigation, and ASIC is a very active litigator where we see harm. In this case, what we've done is release a report and really put pressure on banks to do the right thing by their customers. And I think that the figures, the sheer numbers of people that are being moved into low-fee accounts and the savings that those people will receive, as well as the significant refunds that many people are going to receive for fees charged in the past, really speak for themselves as results of ASIC's work.
You say ASIC is an active litigator, but the Senate found most complaints to ASIC resulted in an automated no further action email within 40 seconds of receipt. How does that demonstrate that ASIC is indeed working as it should be?
Our chair has been very clear about saying that ASIC is one of the most active enforcers, not just in Australia, but indeed by international standards, we're incredibly active. We're in court almost every business day. We've received a number of significant outcomes from our action, and we continue to do so.
What is your response to the call for ASIC to be scrapped and its duties instead be split between a regulator and a financial conduct investigator?
I don't have anything to add to ASIC's public statements on that matter. Obviously, any response to that report is a matter for the government, and ASIC stands ready to work with the government around any changes that it may wish to consider.
Alan Kirkland, good to speak to you.
Thanks, Kirsten.